Hey guys, and welcome back to Riverraven Collects. Today we're going to be looking at Commando Spawn. Now this is a different variant of Commando Spawn, well not a variant, but this is from the cartoon series, or Spawn X series I believe it was called. So yeah, he is very different to the Commando Spawn we know. There are a lot of different Commando Spawns, so there's one where he's got the mask on, and then of course the one that we're probably more familiar with where he's just decked out in a absolute huge arsenal without his cape. So there are quite a few different ones, but yeah, this is the cartoon one, and you know, I absolutely love the cartoon series. Very hard to pick up figures from that line though, unfortunately. So I do have a couple of them on this channel, and this Spawn here is the first one I ever picked up. So that is the first Spawn that started this collection, and I absolutely love him. Anyway, this was released in 2024, so just last year. He also comes with a art card that I'm interested in seeing, and this is of course the 30-year anniversary of McFarlane toys. But we unboxed one last week and that one was absolutely horrible, so I'm really hoping this one can redeem itself. Retail for this is about $50 to $55. I think that's too much. Even before getting it out of the packet, I think that it's too much to be paying for these figures. I would really like to see McFarlane Toys drop their prices again to around, you know, something more reasonable. I managed to pick him up off of Amazon for just $40, which I think is a lot more reasonable. But yeah, we won't know until we get him out of his box, so let's do that and see if it was worth it. Alright guys, so unfortunately there may be some background noise. I'll try and get it out as much as possible, but here we've got the Commando Spawn. So we've got a pretty minimalistic packaging, one green color for pretty much all of it, bit of stuff going on in the back, but we've got Commando Spawn on the side here with the 2 stars. I like that, it looks very cool. Looks like that very old sort of Commando style, you know what I'm talking about. We got the 30 years, so we obviously got the gold packaging around the side. I kind of like that McFarlane's doing this minimalistic packaging, but also like a nice camo print probably would have been really cool, and I think it would have made it stand out a lot more. Just, I do like the minimalism. It brings the figure to the front and makes him, you know, the centerpiece, which is how it should be. However, I think a camo print through all of this would have really caught people's eye. Got the art card in the back, we'll check that out as well. And then this is what he's going to look like. So I miss the old packaging where we used to have advertising for the other figures. I think that it's such a miss that he's kind of got it like this now. And it says here this was originally released in 2007. Now, the last one that said 2007, that was actually wrong. It was 2004. So I don't know. Could be right, could be wrong. Don't know. But yeah, so assumably this is the original one and not the one that we have here. Kind of like if you watch last week's video with Hellspawn, that had a completely different picture here, and I actually said that it was like false advertising because it wasn't the figure we've got here. So trying to look at both of them, I think that yeah, it does look like that Spawn, which is good. And then just a bit on the side here, we've got another picture of Commando Spawn. Nothing on the bottom and nothing really on the top either. So that's that. Let's get him out of his packaging and check him out. So I suppose there's a bit of a better look at what's on the back. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look great, to be honest. I think McFarlane could have done a lot better with that. Again, I think they could have done a lot better with this. Not to be super negative, it's doing the job, but you know, I actually want something like the old days where, you know, everything on these figures and the packaging was like a piece of art. So anyway, speaking of art, let's get his art card out here. Alright, so there is the art card. So very shiny. I think it looks good, but it's just the back again, like no details or anything. I much preferred the art card we got with Hellspawn because that was actually the comic cover issue. So yeah, I really wish that they had done something cool for this. Like, surely there's a drawing or artwork of the cartoon Commando Spawn that they could have used for this, and I think that would have been a lot better. But you guys let me know what you think of this card. If you want to have a pause and have a read of it, be my guest. I won't be reading it out, unfortunately. But yeah, moving on. Alright, this is a bit of a first look at him while he's still in his packaging. So he's looking quite good. Something that I said about Omega Spawn, which is a part of this cartoon line, was that he was kind of torn up a little bit. There was a lot of... He was fresh out of his box, and he had a lot of sort of tears and stuff on him. So I'm interested to see this Gatling gun, so we'll look at that first. Ooh, okay. This is like a rubber cord. There might be some metal or something in there. Interesting though. So the backpack is not what I expected. Big old peg here that's got to go in his back. And then the Gatling gun like that. So yeah, if you've got the cartoon Commando Spawn from the Spawn X series, let me know how this is kind of comparing, because I don't have the comparison of the two. So this is kind of like a re-release of him, so I'd be very interested to see or hear your thoughts on how different this figure is. I think that, you know, it's doing the job. Nothing too fabulous to write home about. It looks good. I think it's going to look very good in his hand though. So before we have a proper look at him, we'll look at the stand, of course. We'll save all the good stuff for last. So really appreciate that McFarlane is putting these in a little plastic bag now, because he wasn't doing that before. Whoops. And before it was getting like all these marks on it, and I don't know if it was just because I dropped it, but there are marks on this. I don't think I just did that though. I don't even know if the camera's really picking it up, but there are a bunch of marks there. Yeah, not really happy with that. A few scratches, that could have been me. Don't know, but yeah, you know, last week I was like, oh, it's so good that he's putting plastic on this so that they don't get scratched up, but fortunately we've got a scratched up one right here, and I don't think that was all just me, so yeah, a little disappointing. Alright, we got Commando Spawn himself, and yeah, just looking at him and touching him, he feels really good, really solid. We will check out the articulation, something that I've kind of forgotten to do recently, but we've got some in his wrist here, some in his shoulder. Looks like we've got some head. No. Oh yeah, his head does move if you want to move it. Nothing in the waist and nothing in the legs. So he is essentially just a static figure, right? And I don't have a problem with that. I actually prefer it being a statue because I feel like McFarlane can do a lot more details, a lot more precise stuff with it without having to worry about the articulation. However, I know a lot of people do love the articulation, so yeah, he does not have a lot of articulation at all. What's that, 5 points of articulation? So if you're getting this because you want articulation, he doesn't have it. But let's get him together here. Alright, I had to do it off camera, as usual, but I'm going to show you what I did here to get it in. So you got to take that backpack off, don't try and do it with the backpack in there. Take his arm out as far as it can go, and turn it upside down like that, so his hand's like that. That makes it a lot easier, and then pushing that in between his thumb and his hand. This hand has pretty much no give to it, so it is a bit difficult. You'll need a lot of pressure to get it in there. But now that it's in there, it should be all good, hopefully. So we'll put his arm back down, and we'll put this backpack back in. Hopefully. That's the plan anyway. So push that back in, and there we have it. So I suppose you probably want it something like that, right? With his pointing it up a bit. Yeah, it's all a bit, it all kind of clashes together a bit, so you got to definitely get this on the right angle. What's interesting is he was actually standing quite well without his stand, but now with the Gatling gun and the backpack, I think he actually needs that stand, so we'll chuck that on as well. And that just sits in there like that, so that's quite good. Unfortunately, we're covering the Spawn logo with his foot, something could have probably been done to avoid that, but it's fine. But yeah, that's what he looks like with his Gatling gun on. I think he looks great, actually. I'll give my final thoughts in a minute, but let's move over to the showcase and actually get a really good look at him. And then, of course, yeah, I'll be back with my final thoughts. Alright guys, that has been our look at Commando Spawn. So compared to Hellspawn that we looked at last week, this is a much bigger improvement. I'm actually really impressed with these, and putting them up against the old ones, you can actually see that he looks a lot better. So there are some flaws, but overall I am really impressed with this. Obviously I love the cartoon series as well, so I would love for McFarlane to actually release all of them again. I think the one thing that I wish came with this figure, and considering the price, it would be nice if it just came with it, which is the big stand. I really like that big stand with the Spawn logo on it that the rest of the old cartoon series has. I really like that stand, and I would have really liked it for this figure so that I could put them all together and they would all look, you know, the same. But unfortunately we only got the little one. And speaking of the stand, you know, I don't really like this little stand. It does help him stand up and you will need it. Unfortunately with this figure, he is going to fall over, so he's not that stable on his feet, particularly with the backpack and the Gatling gun. I suppose if you hold it more forward, like this, that maybe it would be better, right? But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't line up with his shoulder if you do that, so yeah, I don't know. You kind of have some caveats with this figure, and if you don't have it forward, then it kind of clashes with the backpack, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of things going on. Overall though, I'm really impressed with this one. It's simple and it does the job, and yeah, it's really good. I think that a couple more details like the metal on the little pockets would have been good, but overall, yeah, I am really happy to have this one in the collection, and I actually think that it looks better than the older ones, which usually I don't think that. So yeah, I'd really like McFarlane to actually release all of these again, because I would definitely pick all of these up and review them on the channel, of course. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Is this one you're going to pick up? Is this one that you have picked up that you're really impressed with? Let me know. And yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you're new here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be uploading all that often anymore. This is kind of the last figure that I have picked up. I'm going to keep my eye out and keep my eyes peeled for figures that I actually want for the collection. And of course, you know, there's a bunch of anime figures that I might order or something. So there will be content. I'm just not sure when that's going to be happening. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this look at Commando Spawn as much as I have. And I'll see you guys on the next one.